Everyone, we're back on the docket for the afternoon.
Sir,
I'm,
sorry, Judge.
is everything okay out there?
Yeah, I think it's the gentleman who bonded out, or Don.
Does he need to be, he's bonded out, but he's on the docket?
Take the damn headphones out. Yeah. What happened, Your Honor?
So do we need to address him?
What happens is, to cover their bases, when someone bonds out and they've already been set for a second look, the jail say, oh, they see you're scheduled for a hearing. And for,
Oh, it's a second look?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So did we tell him that he could go home, that he doesn't have to be there?
I did, but it wasn't registering, so I figured I'd let Brian talk. You know, we
Okay.
try to be very direct about it.
All right. What's his name and which docket is? Do we want to have him come in and I'll just tell him? He left? All right,
I bonded out and his
all
mother
right,
is on the other line.
okay. All right, so Mr. Casamano on the second docket, he posted his bond, so he didn't have to be here, okay? All right, so let's go to Heaven Roberts. Good afternoon, Mr. Miller.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
All right,
Always a pleasure.
okay. Ms. Roberts, you are before the court on a traffic capias and a misdemeanor capias. The traffic capias was issued on October 21, operating with a suspended driver's license. And then there's another one, you didn't show up for calendar call on August 29th on a suspended driver's license charge. All right, so there are two different cases, two similar charges. The judges that issued those capias on one has a $250 bond, and on the other one, it's a $1,000 bond.
Judge, does the court have the ability to adjust these bonds or to release her to pretrial?
Well, what is her, does she have any other priors?
I'll look, but actually, both of these cases are before Judge Pohl, and he said
They're
both
both,
cases.
they're both now before Judge Pohl? Because one's a 30A.
No, that was already transferred. 'cause
It's
it
already
says on the,
transferred?
Booking Division MH.
Oh, thank you.
Judge on Monday.
All right, so then I'm gonna leave it in place for Ms. Roberts to see Judge Pohl on Monday. She already has a hearing scheduled for Monday at 8:30.
Thank you, Judge.
All right. Or she can post her bond. Brianna Santiago.
Ms. Santiago declined as public defender, Judge.
Okay,
Somebody has posted her bond already. If not, she's going to need a cell phone order.
all right. Has Ms. Santiago's bond been posted? I'm sorry? It's bonded, it's posted? Oh, okay.
Mr. Bryant?
Okay, all right. Ms. Santiago, you're before the court on one charge of DUI, alcohol or drugs. Number two, DUI with a breath level greater than .15, and then you have two traffic infractions. And I've just been advised by confinement status that your bond is being posted as we speak. So you should be out. I'm sorry?
What are the traffic infractions?
Disobeying or avoiding a traffic device, and number 4 is expired tag less than 6 months.
Expires.
Yes.
I have the, okay.
Well, right, that's something that you're gonna have to deal with in court, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right. All right, that's it. Carlos Fernandez,
Just Mr. Fernandez, Spanish language dependent.
he needs a Spanish interpreter.
We have one on the way, Judge.
Okay, so as soon as the interpreter is here, we'll address him. So, next on the docket is Antonio Watts,
Present at the main jail and approaching.
okay?
Mr. Watt's mother is present, Judge.
Okay,
You stand right at the podium, he'll be able to see you.
all right, Mr. Watts is before the court on one charge of DUI, alcohol, or drugs. Number 2 is a traffic infraction, unlawful speed, and that's not for magistrate. The breath results were a .105 and .102. All right, I find probable cause. Does Mr. Watts have any priors?
I'm looking into that right now. No history, Judge.
All right. Good afternoon, ma'am.
I just want to say, he have no priors, and he's a good
He
kid.
confirmed
yeah.
that.
Okay.
Okay. But he has a $500 bond, which I'm gonna leave in place because of the amount. It's not over the limit, but it's up there. Can you
Judge,
afford
I
the
was
bond?
wondering if the court might consider releasing
No.
Mr. Watts.
I asked her if she could afford a bond. She said yes.
Okay.
Oh, but what were you gonna say?
I was going to ask you to release him on his own recognizance since he has no priors. He lives with his mother.
No, I'm not gonna just
Okay.
ROR straight.
Or to leave the bond. in
Okay, all right, so then I'll do that. All right? All right, ma'am, good luck. All right, Robert Dennis,
Present at the main jail and approaching the lectern.
Mr. Dennis is before the court on one charge of DUI, alcohol, or drugs. Number 2, driving while license suspended. Number 3, unlawful speed posted. That's a traffic infraction not for magistrate, and I find probable cause. All right, Mr.
Set.
I'm sorry, Mr., what did you say?
We're asking the court to read the bond
Oh.
as set.
Okay.
I'm not asking for any kind of modification.
All right, he has a $500 bond, okay? All right, Artenio Guzman Alvarez.
Guzman is also a Spanish language defendant.
Okay, we'll recall when the Spanish interpreter gets here. Emmanuel Osorio,
Mr. Osorio, president approaching the bench. I'm the, lectern.
all right, Mr. Osorio, you're before the court. Charge 1 is DUI, alcohol, or drugs. Number 2 is DUI with a breath level greater than .15. Number 3 is unlawful speed posted. Number 4, failure to drive in a single lane. Number 5, improper right turn. 3, 4, and 5 are traffic infractions. I find probable cause, and I'll leave the bonds in place at this time, okay? So you have a total of $1,500 in bond. Adrienne Perez Calderon,
Spanish language. Your Honor.
okay. Oh, I'll recall when the Spanish interpreter gets here. Christopher Hicks,
North Broward.
Needs a medical reset, Your Honor.
Was
Medical
it,
reset.
all right, medical reset for Mr. Hicks. Jovan Desome,
President the main.
Mr. Desome is before the court on one charge of grand theft auto. And number 2 is, counterfeit plates or decal, and I find probable cause. Any argument on Mr. DeSolm? He has a total of $2,000 in bond.
Judge, Mr. DeSalm is a lifetime resident of South Florida. He's been living in his current current address for the past 6 years. He does live with his parents. All of his family resides here in South Florida as well, so he has significant ties to the community. We'd ask the court to consider pretrial release for Mr. DeSalm.
Does he have any priors?
Checking that right now, Your Honor. Looks like there's an open trespass in Dade. What happened? I don't care that much about that one. What about the CF? Just drop it. I don't care about that and that. I don't have an objection to pretrial, Judge.
So RR Mr. DeSolm to pretrial supervision. Sir, today is Friday, and the pretrial office is closed on the weekends, so Monday morning, you need to be there at 9 o'clock, and sign up. If you don't, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. LaDerrick Bryant.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. LaDerrick Bryant.
Bryant is present and approaching the lectern, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bryant. You're before the court for one charge of robbery by sudden snatching without a firearm,
Counsel, Your Honor.
and I find probable cause. All right. Does Mr. Bryant have any priors?
Yes and no.
Yes and no.
Well, he doesn't have priors.
That's a first. I've never heard yes and no.
Well, you're okay. He doesn't have priors, but the court should take into consideration that he has 3 pending felonies. One for dealing in stolen property, false ownership info, and a pawn item. A second for robbery by sudden snatching and resisting without violence. And a third for grand theft.
And when did those all?
The dealing in stolen property is a 2019 case. The robbery is a 2017 case. And the grand theft is a 2016 case.
And none of them have been resolved? So this 2016?
Let me check Odyssey real quick to see what's going on with those cases.
And did he post bond on those pending cases?
Robbery, and I can tell you, the only thing I can tell you, looking at the robbery, there's been a lot of continuances granted.
Okay.
$5,000 bond was posted in 2017 on that case. On the grand theft, $1,500 bond. $1,000 on the dealing in stolen property, false ownership info.
All right. Mr. Miller?
Judge, we're gonna stand muted.
All right.
Listing a $15,000 bond, no victim contact, pretrial release with a GPS monitor. I mean, considering this will be his 4th pending felony case, there's no reason for the court to have any confidence that Mr. Bryant will avoid committing new criminal activity while out of custody.
All right, I am going to impose a $10,000 bond with level 2 pretrial at this time. All right. Ian Iannoni. Mr. Iannone is before the court. Charge one is robbery with a firearm. Number two is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon without intent to kill. Number three is touch or strike battery, and I find probable cause.
And Your Honor, count one should be an attempt. That being said, I'm gonna be requesting a $25,000 bond on count one, $25,000 bond on count two, pretrial release of the GPS monitor, no victim contact. I'm very concerned based on these allegations that he didn't just threaten the victim, but that he actually pulled the trigger and that, twice, and that the gun misfired. He has a prior arrest in Miami from last year for, I believe, assault and battery. He went through a diversion program, and then he was the state no pros the charge late January of this year. I'd also ask no victim contact, no return to Gulfstream, no possession of any firearms, weapons, or ammunition.
Huh?
Yes.
So, Mr. Iannone has been living in South Florida his entire life, been at the same address for the past 19 years. He does live with his parents. He has siblings also living in South Florida. He works in retail. The court considered setting the bond in count one at $25,000 and two and three pretrial release level 2.
One, I'll be 25,000. On two, it will be 5,000. And then that's gonna include a level two pretrial, no victim contact, no return to Gulfstream, no weapons or firearms.
Thank you, Your Honor. Count one.
And
strictly from-
one is 25, two is 5, three is 1,000, plus level two pretrial.
And our Spanish interpreter is present.
I see that. Is there something that, ma'am, that you were here this morning, is there something that you wanted to address the court? No.
Anna, when you said that if we can afford it, we can afford it if we have to pay, but right now we are in tight financial situation, so I thought, I put the check that if, he doesn't show up, then you're gonna charge the 3,500. But I talked to some bondsmen, since we are not living in the state, they wanted 350 plus collateral. So I was going to ask him if there is any other options.
Oh, I see. Well, he's not before me now, and I don't have the matter before me at this time. So I'm not going to make any changes from what I made this morning at this time. So,
What I suggest you do is, go to the second floor and go up that big hallway, the ramp, and make a left, and that'll take you right to the public defender's office. They might be able to tell you now who's representing him, or at least put you in touch with a public defender who works in front of his judge, and they can file a motion to reduce bond. Okay, that's probably the best thing for you to try and do.
Thank you so much.
You're very
Thank you,
welcome.
Anna.
you're welcome. All right. Now we need the Spanish interpreter. All right. Is this Mr. Perez Calderon?
Es el señor Pérez Calderón.
Mr. Fernandez on page 4 of the docket.
All right, Carlos Fernandez. All right, Mr. Fernandez, you are before the court. Charge one is DUI, alcohol or drugs.
Señor Fernández, usted está ante mi persona hoy El primer cargo es alcohol o drogas, DUI.
Number 2 is operating without a valid driver's license.
El segundo cargo es operar un vehículo automotor sin licencia válida.
Number 3 is disobeying a traffic device.
El tercer cargo es desobedecer un dispositivo de tránsito.
And number 4 is an old traffic KPS from 2012.
Y el número 4 es una orden de captura por tránsito antiguo de 2012.
And that charge was or is operating without a valid license.
Ese cargo era o es operar un vehículo automotor sin licencia válida.
All right, I find probable cause,
Considero que existen indicios probables
and I am going to leave the bonds in place.
y voy a dejar tal cual las fianzas.
So just so Mr. Fernandez knows, he has a total of $2,500 in bond.
Para que el señor Fernández lo sepa, la fianza total que debe pagar es de $2,500.
And on the KPS matter, he sees his judge on Monday at 9 a.m.
Y para el tema referente a la orden de captura, le toca comparecer ante su juez asignado el lunes a las 9 a.m.
All right, good luck, sir.
Buena suerte, señor.
Perez Calderon?
Who else? Artenio Guzman Alvarez.
Oh, sorry, Judge, I called Calderon.
Oh, who's this? Calderon?
Sorry, Judge, it's Adrian Perez Calderon.
Okay, all right, Adrian Perez Calderon. You're before the court. Charge 1 is DUI, alcohol or drugs.
Adrián Pérez Calderón, usted está ante mi persona. El primer cargo es conducir bajo la influencia del alcohol o drogas.
Number 2 is operating without a valid driver's license.
Segundo cargo es operar un vehículo automotor sin licencia válida.
Number 3 is DUI with a breath level greater than 0.15.
El tercer cargo es DUI con una alcoholemia que dio 0,15 o más.
All right, number 4 says an immigration hold.
El cuarto cargo es una orden de captura de migración.
I don't have the immigration hold information.
No tengo la información referente a la orden de captura de migración. Fue agregada después.
Was the intention that that be heard tomorrow morning?
La idea era que se escuchara mañana en la
All
mañana.
right, well, then I can't find probable cause for the immigration hold because I have not
Bien,
seen in the
no puedo
paperwork.
hallar indicios probables de delito por el tema de migración porque no la tengo ante mí.
Your Honor, I would ask that the court defer ruling.
Su señoría, voy a pedir que aplace su hallazgo.
I don't believe that was intended to be before the court this afternoon.
Creo que eso no estaba supuesto a ventilarse ante este tribunal esta tarde.
That charge isn't even on the booking sheet that the state was given.
Ese cargo ni siquiera está en la hoja de fichaje
All
que
right,
se le dio a la fiscalía.
so no probable cause for number 4.
Bien, no hay indicios probables para el cuarto cargo.
I find probable cause for the other charges,
Considero que existen indicios probables para los otros cargos.
and I'll leave the standard bonds in place.
Voy a dejar las fianzas de rigor tal cual,
So he has a total of $1,500 in bonds.
de forma que su fianza total es de $1,500.
All right, yes.
I'd ask that count 4 be reset for tomorrow. It really can't be a perfection.
Su señoría, voy a
Right,
solicitar
so,
que la vista sea para mañana. Realmente no
Whatever
podemos
confinement or the state is going to
enmendar,
do on that charge, then they'll do it for
el cargo.
tomorrow.
Bueno, sí, entonces
I don't think I need to reset him because I don't,
la
it's not like I,
reclusión que vaya a solicitar la fiscalía la tendría que hacer para ese momento.
Well, I will,
Realmente no
but-
creo que lo pueda aplazar. Si no
if you put it, if you put it on the
encontramos
paperwork
indicios probables, entonces no va a volver.
and I read it
Si lo ponen en el documento y yo
and
lo
I
leo,
don't get the detainment information, I can't
y
find
no tengo
probable
la
cause. So
información sobre
what
la
is the
detención,
other
no puedo hallar que
alternative that you
existan
want?
indicios probables. ¿Cuál es la
No,
alternativa?
it doesn't matter
Yo le
what
puedo decir
happened.
lo que pasó. Es que
If
no,
I could
no importa lo
inquire-
que pasó.
It's-
If I can inquire, Your Honor, I know count 4 was on your findings.
Right.
Su señoría, si me permite indagar.
Was it on the booking sheet?
Sé que
Madam
el cuarto
Clerk,
cargo estaba en sus
can you give me
hallazgos.
the-
¿Estaba en la ficha?
Can you give me the paperwork back, please?
¿Me puede dar los papeles, por favor?
Here, so
No.
if it's not on the booking sheet, then the clerk incorrectly put the charge on the findings.
Si no está en la hoja de fichaje, entonces fue que el secretario puso de manera incorrecta el cargo entre los hallazgos.
All right, I've deleted it.
Bien, lo he eliminado.
Okay. Artenio Guzman Alvarez.
Artenio Guzmán Álvarez.
President Domingo?
All right, Mr. Guzman Alvarez, you're before the court for disorderly intoxication.
Señor Guzmán Álvarez, usted está ante este tribunal hoy acusado de intoxicación pública causando disturbios
And I find probable cause.
y considero que existen indicios probables.
All right. Mr. Guzman, does Mr. Guzman have any priors?
Señor Guzmán, ¿tiene antecedentes?
I don't see anything, Your Honor.
No veo, su señoría. Tiene una orden de captura de migración,
I'm not
señora
going
juez,
to
que tenía
address-
que ventilarse mañana.
Anything that's not before me, so don't tell me.
No voy a abordar ningún tema que
Okay.
no esté ante mí,
Yeah.
así que no me digan. Solo para que sepa.
There's a procedure I have to follow, and I can't make the determination of probable cause unless that information is before me, all right?
Hay un procedimiento que hay que seguir y yo no puedo hacer hallazgos sobre indicios probables de delito a menos que la información conste ante mi persona.
All right, so he has a $25 bond on this charge.
$25 de fianza para este cargo.
And I've been advised that his bond has been posted.
Tengo entendido que su fianza ya ha sido pagada.
Okay?
Bien.
Okay? Yeah. Thank you, Judge. I have 2 second looks here. Can I call them?
No,
Sorry.
is there someone else that needs a Spanish interpreter?
Not here in the court, in the main jail.
Anywhere else, do we need the Spanish interpreter?
Not as I've been advised, Your Honor.
All right, thank you so much. Have a good weekend. All right, Mr. Miller, who is it that you wish to call?
Daniel Merico, he's on the second look for an obstruction of the highway, arrested on October 29th. He would like to resolve this if the court is so inclined.
All right, I believe Mr. Marico has been before this court several times, which is probably why I did not take a plea at his first appearance. I've had numerous conversations with Mr. Marico. When was the last time, Mr. Marico, these are not, these municipal ordinances are not?
It's a combination.
Okay.
The reason they didn't put the municipal ordinance, and here's the other issue. If these are resolved, he's still gonna have outstanding, at least one municipal ordinance case. The reason it wasn't put on for the second look is because there were no bonds attached, they're not holding him. But he's
Okay.
still gonna have to come to court, which, just being honest, Mr. Merico has shown difficulty doing in the future.
All right,
His last arrest was September 28th, and he pled out to a few days in jail, was released October 2nd.
no, and now, are these 4 charges that are before me?
4?
5? It says 1, 2, I think that's why we didn't resolve it. He had a lot,
Yeah, it's, Your Honor, if I may, it's, on the state charge,
yes,
there are 5 counts. There
okay.
are 3 municipal ordinance counts separate and apart.
All right. So even if Mr. Merico, there are 5 counts that are before the court today, he has 3 other counts that are not before the court today. So even if he resolves these 5, which is probably, again, the reason why I didn't resolve it when he came through the first time, because like I said, Mr. Merico has been here several times, and now he's got 5 counts. Now there are 8 counts that are pending. So, to answer your question, I'm not gonna take a plea today because he's got other things that are going on as well, so.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. All right, who else do you have, Mr. Miller?
Omar Pyret, trespassing unoccupied structure conveyance, $25 bond. He's been in custody since October 29th. He would like to resolve it if the court is so inclined.
Sort of a similar situation. I think Your Honor had concerns that Mr. Parrott just appears before you.
That's the problem. Mr. Parrott keeps going missing. But is this the only thing that he has
I
left?
believe so, I'll confirm. Judge.
All right, and this is a case from south? No, it's already been transferred up here?
No, it's a new,
It was a new one.
arrest.
And he's been in custody how long now?
It's the 29th.
All right, Mr. Perret, if you wish to resolve your case, I'll give you time served. Do you wish to accept that?
Yes.
All right, sir, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. And do you understand the offer that has been extended to you today?
Yes.
The only charge before this court today is a trespassing charge. You understand that?
Yes.
One trespassing charge. All right, is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
Do you need any more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
You understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right.
Yes.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No.
And do you understand, sir, that if you are not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea today, you could be subjected to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes.
What plea do you wish to enter at this time, guilty or no contest?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence, sir, is adjudication time served, and I'll give you 6 months to pay the court costs. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Judge.
Is
Judge,
that-
I am all out of defendant's standards.
Certainly.
I guess that just leaves you, Mr. Miller.
I know, right?
They said they were gonna let me out.
All right, Darwin Mingo?
Your Honor, Mr. Mingo's in North Broward. I was speaking with him earlier, and in the middle of our conversation, he was having some difficulties and asked to go back to his cell.
All right.
Which I think was probably the best thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna ask the court to send this case over to Judge Lerner Wren.
I'm surprised we didn't do that yet.
Well, he refused, I think, the
yeah.
other day as well.
He did.
Oh, that's
So-
right, he's been refusing.
Right.
Okay. All right, so
Worth
we
a
will,
shot.
I'll sign that order to send him to Judge Lerner Wren. All right. Thank you. And then Chantal Georges?
She refused.
She refused at her first
Oh,
appearance also.
you're right, right. All right, so we'll just delete we'll deny the motion. And then is that it then?
Your Honor,
Yes?
there's a case
Oh,
on the
wait.
felony second docket,
Megget.
but I asked Brian, and I could have sworn we handled this as a second, this was the second look yesterday, I could have sworn.
Marlon Megget? Because we know that Mr. Casamano
Yes.
should not be there. Do we have Marlon Megget somewhere?
I couldn't remember if something happened yesterday that we put him back on the
I
docket.
don't remember.
He definitely was, I saw the docket.
Okay.
It was reset?
So where is he? Mr. Miller is gone, so I know we don't have anybody.
Mr. Miller
for the
might
main
have to
jail.
come back.
I know, right?
He's at North
He's
Broward.
at North Broward.
All right.
Rats. I was really hoping Mr. Miller would have to come
I
back.
know. At North Broward, do you have Marlon Megget?
We're gonna check, Your Honor.
All right.
I heard you. This is it.
Okay.
He's there. They didn't- we didn't-
Okay. Or should he be on the list?
I'm hearing that we reset him from yesterday. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I didn't remember any resets from yesterday, but that's fine. Understandable. It's always something. I mean, look at this. Cute. It's history. He's a prison. What he's been up to since then. Seriously? Second one. Shouldn't take that long.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Same. Leaving us already? I don't blame you.
Very important plans.
I'm glad you did.
trying to turn it back on, then we get stuck here another half hour. If it's working, you know, just let it go. Surprise me.
All right, Mr. Megget, good afternoon, sir. They need to turn on your mic. All right, so Mr. Megget, you're on the docket because, for a second look at your bond status, you were arrested on October 28th. And, it looks like you have a $750 bond. Is there anything else that's holding Mr. Megget in custody?
Judge, this was a felony theft at a Family Dollar. Mr. Megget was accused of stealing, one moment.
$37,
Yeah, well,
Oh, no.
yeah, that,
yes?
and yes, it is, yes, it looks like it was,
Of Tide Pods.
yeah, packages of Tide Pods.
But this must be his third, because now it's a felony.
Yeah, his history is 2000. He had a theft. He pled out mid-July. Theft last year. That was pled out in July. Theft 2017. Trespass on school grounds 2017. Attempted robbery with a firearm 09, 8-year state prison. Robbery with a firearm or deadly weapon 09, 8-year state prison. Possession of cocaine 08, 5-year state prison. Theft 07, solicitation to deliver cocaine 06.
All right, Mr. Megan, do you have a permanent address?
Yes, ma'am.
Who do you live with?
My mother, ma'am.
And have you tried to reach out to your family in regards to posting your bond?
Yes, ma'am, but it's kind of a little struggle right now, financial situation.
All right. Is there any other pending charges that he has at this time?
None that I know.
All right, I'll, a level 2 pretrial, I'll release you to level 2 pretrial. Pretrial will have to come over to, because you'll be on an anchor monitor, they'll have to verify the address that you're gonna be at. And if everything is clear with that, you'll be out on a level 2 pretrial, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And no return to that location.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everyone. I think that's it. That's it, Mr. Miggett.
Thank you very much, ma'am.